Happy Monday, students. I'm here to explain to you your requirements for the week. So before I do that, I'm going to have a sip of my coffee. Okay, so this week in biology, we are going to continue on learning about classification. So I'm not adding anything new. This is just a continuation of last week. So in looking at your homework last week, there were some mistakes that a lot of people were making over and over again. And it really came to these rules around writing genus and species name. So the rules, there's 3 rules that I explained last week, and I'm going to explain them again right now, that you have to follow when you're writing a genus and a species name. This is the scientific name, okay? So genus has to be capitalized. It's always capitalized. The genus name is always capitalized. The species name is never capitalized. Okay, so a lot of you were capitalizing both of these, and that is not correct. The other rule that a lot of people forgot is that all of the letters in these 2 names have to be italicized. What that means is instead of being straight letters, they are slanted. Okay? It's hard to write. You can see with my Homo sapiens, I'm trying to write in italics. If you are writing it, I would be using your text tool on your iPad and click on that little I that makes them slant. Otherwise, if you handwrite them, and you want to make sure I know that you have italicized them, you can star them and write italicized to let me know that you know it's supposed to be italicized. The other question that a lot of people were getting wrong on the taxonomy reading was, what is the common name of all the animals in the genus carnivore? I think was the question. Common name is what you know those animals as. So fox, wolf, dog, cat. Okay, a common name are the names that we use when we are talking about these organisms in general. The scientific name is the one that science uses. So when we're talking about humans, we don't call ourselves Homo sapiens in general conversation. When we're talking about our dogs, we don't say Arcanus familiaris. We use the word dog. So every organism has a common name and a scientific name. This goes for plants as well as animals, fungus, bacteria. All of those have a common name and a scientific name usually. All right, so this week, what do you have to do for biology? There are 3 things you're going to have to, that are going to be due by the end of the week. And by the way, this is only a 4-day school week. We have Friday off. So I'm making this week's tasks a little bit less time consuming. So hopefully you will get them done by Thursday and have Good Friday off to hang out with your family and do something fun. So what's going to be due this week, you have to first go in and add to my discussion. Okay, just like last week, I want you to go in and I will do a check off to make sure that you're going in, and I'm going to read all of your comments too. Last week was really fun to read them. I noticed that pretty much every single one of you misses your friends, and I totally get it. I miss my friends too, and we've been video chatting and trying to connect that way, but it is not the same as being in the same room with them, so I completely get it. But this week's discussion is really about how last week went. The other thing you're going to have is a 40-point project where you're going to be picking organism, any living organism on the planet, and you're going to be classifying it. So you're going to be figuring out its kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. And then for each of those different levels, you're going to give me the characteristics of the level in general, and you're going to add another animal or another organism. If it's a plant, you'd be adding another plant that belongs in that same classification. Okay? And I'll go over that in a little bit more detail in just a minute. And then the third thing you're going to do is take a 5-point quiz. Now, you might say, Miss Klepper, what is on the quiz? It's pretty much the stuff I just went over. Do you know how to write genus and species? Do you know the rules, the 3 rules? Do you know what a common name is? Which one of these words here is the genus? Which one is the species? So you need to, it's just the general stuff that we've been going over. So 5-point quiz, that will be in the module for Wednesday and Thursday. Okay, so let me really quickly go over the rubric for your slides project. Okay, so you're going to be choosing an animal. So if we just follow my example that I've had up on the board, Canis familiaris is dog, and the thing I'm actually asking you not to do dogs and cats. Okay, everyone loves their dogs and cats and wants to use that one. I would really like you to try to think outside the box and pick an animal or a plant or a fungus or something else that's not a cat or a dog. Okay, but if I was using my example here, okay, I would be making a slides project where I'm going through and finding all these names, okay, for the classification. And then for each one, I have to write down the characteristics of that level. Okay, so what makes an animal an animal? What makes a chordata a chordata? What makes an animal a mammal? What makes them a carnivore? So these are things you're going to have to look up. So I'm just going to show you on Canvas, I have a requirement sheet and a rubric. So this is the rubric right here. It's a 40-point project. So you have to first come up with a title slide that includes a picture of your organism. You need to write its common name and its scientific name following all the rules. Okay, so that's the first requirement, is that you're making a title slide that does that. Then you need to have a slide for all 7 of the levels. So if you're missing one, like you leave one out, you're going to lose points on that. You have to have a slide for all 7 levels, from kingdom down to species. Okay. Next, you're writing for each one. You are writing down the characteristics for that level. So what makes an animal an animal? What makes a chordata, like I just said. And then the next part might be a little bit tricky, and this is where Wikipedia is your friend. I'm okay if you use Wikipedia on this project. You have to come up with another organism that is in that level, okay? So if I'm using dog, like my example, and I have to give another example of an animal, I could put anything there, any other animal, a giraffe. And then I would say its common name, giraffe, and I have to find its genus and species name and write it correctly. Okay? For the next one, for phylum, chordata, I have to find another animal that has a backbone. So I might say boa constrictor, and then write its genus and species name. For the next one, mammals, mammalia is mammal. So I find another mammal. Maybe I say whale. Blue whale, and I write its genus and species name. Okay, so you have to give me an example of another organism in that level. Okay, and then the last part is creativity. I don't want to see any slides that are just white background with black letters. That's boring. I want to see color. There should be a picture on every slide. My picture, I would have it be the animal that you listed for the other organism, and add some color, add some pizzazz. You guys at this point in your education should know that looking at a slideshow that's super boring is not very fun. So those are the 3 things you have to tackle. Again, this is all on Canvas. This rubric is on Canvas. There's a requirement number 3 that I want you to upload and get that into Notability and label it number 3 so you can look at it. And please read all the directions, okay? I wrote them so that you can understand what I'm looking for in that project. And then if you have questions, as always, you can email me and I will respond to you as soon as I can. So those are the 3 things you have to do this week. Add to my discussion from today's module. Start your project, and then you have a 5-point quiz that I will publish. I'll probably publish that tomorrow so that you can do it early if you want. All right, I hope everyone's doing well and keeping safe and healthy and maintaining social distance. And I look forward to hearing from you if you have questions, and also seeing your projects and reading your discussions. So we can stay connected in our own little ways, but I hope that everybody's doing well at home. And I miss you a lot. I would much rather be saying all these things to you in person in the classroom. And I miss my classroom. Okay. Have a good one.